Welcome to Dark Psychology World Channel. What we bring is the 38 letters from J.D. Rockefeller to his son, perspectives, ideology, and wisdom. Letter 32, enrich your soul. Dear John, just like we have physical appetites, we also have spiritual appetites. But many people often use the excuse of not having time. Have the heart to let your soul endure the pain of hunger. They only do so by accident or accident. Take steps to enrich your mind. But never forget. Meet their needs from the neck down. Maybe my view is a bit pessimistic. The era we live in, everyone is satisfied from the neck down without any restrictions. But ignore the needs above the neck. In fact, you will often hear people say that eating lunch is a big deal. But I can't hear such a sound. When was the last time your spiritual hunger was satisfied? Are all of us spiritually rich? Of course not. In our world, mentally deficient people can be found everywhere. Those who live in depression, negativity, failure, and melancholy. They all desperately need spiritual nourishment and the call of inspiration. But they almost all reject opportunities to enrich their souls. Let the soul be dim and dull. If only an empty mind could be like an empty belly. If you need to fill it with something to satisfy the owner, how great would that be? It's a pity that nothing is so cheap. Instead, people have to accept the punishment of spiritual emptiness. The soul is the true home of each of us. Are we good or bad? All depends on its upbringing. Because everything that comes into this home, all have an effect. Will create something. Prepare for your future, or it will be destroyed. Reduce your potential future success in life. For example, positive. Everyone reaches its peak. Or a first-rate person who has reached the peak. All positive. They are so active because they regularly clean and powerfully. Positive spiritual thoughts enrich the soul. Just like food becomes nutrition for the body, they never forget to provide spiritual food for the soul every day. They know, if you can enrich the part above the neck, you will never have to worry about filling up the part below the neck. You don't even have to worry about financial problems in old age. One must find one's own home, so as not to go homeless or become a beggar. First of all, even if you have to sell your soul, also sell it to yourself. We have to accept ourselves. Secondly, we must have a positive attitude. Mr. Carl Jung and I met unexpectedly 2 years ago. This psychologist told me a story. A man was trapped by the flood. He had to climb to the roof to take refuge. Someone from the neighborhood floated over. Said, "John, the flood this time is really scary. Is not it?" John replied, "No, he's not that bad." The neighbors were a little surprised. "Just retort and say what you said. Not so bad. Your chicken coop has been washed away." John said, "Yes, I know, but 6 months ago, I have started raising ducks. Now they are all swimming nearby. Everything is fine." "But John, the water this time destroyed your crops." The neighbor insisted. John replied, "No. None of my crops were damaged due to lack of water. Just last week, someone else told me my land needs more water. So it's solved now." The pessimistic neighbor said again to the smiling John, "But look at John. The water is still rising. It's about to reach your window." Optimistic John smiles even more happily. Said, "I hope so. These windows are so dirty. Need to be cleaned." This sounds like a joke. But obviously this is a state. Decided to approach this with a positive attitude. A complicated and ups and downs world. Once this state is reached, even if you encounter negative situations, it can also make the mind automatically respond positively. In order to achieve this state, We can only enrich and purify our hearts. Everyone can change or be changed. Mr. Young said that as long as one changes one's vocabulary, can increase his income and improve his life, even change his life. For example, the word hate. To remove it from your vocabulary. Don't think about it. Rather, it represents love that represents feelings and dreams. Words to replace it. Obviously, the removal and replacement of words is almost endless, but the soul will become purer through elimination. Positive actions of our souls, based on what is provided for him. I believe in what I put into my heart. Very important to my future. So the problem is obviously, how do we feed our souls? When do you find time to replenish your spiritual food? Have you ever heard of such a thing? Logger's output will decrease. That is because he didn't get around to sharpening him and his axe. We spend money and a lot of time to modify the appearance of the head. Shave hair trimming. Do we need to spend the same time and money? Let's decorate the inside of our heads. The answer is yes. And it can be done. In fact, spiritual food is available everywhere. For example, reading books is a good way. Books written by great minds. Not one. Not the food that cleanses and enriches our souls. They have already pointed the way for future generations. And we can choose any of them. What we want. Great books are great trees of wisdom. Is a great spiritual tree, in which we will be reinvented. Learn to be humble. Become smart. Certainly. Books with hurtful words that we can't read. Their books are like a plague, spreading shameless evil thoughts, evil news and conceited folly. Their books, only worthy of being held in the hands of those shallow and vulgar people. What we need, it is the confidence and strength that can bring us action, can push our lives to another new level, and a book that guides us to do good. For example, Strive Forward. It is a film that stirs our souls. Great books that inspire our passion for life. I believe the American people will be blamed for its coming, and under its guidance, in the most positive way. Use your own power to reach your dream state of life. I even believe, who missed the chance to read him? Who is likely to miss out on a great life? I hope my children and grandchildren can read this book. He can open the door to happiness for all. The driving force that leads people to climb to the top. It is a way to regularly nourish and strengthen the soul. Therefore, the increasingly strong driving force. Those who have a successful life. No doubt everyone can feel it. There's a lot of room in the peak, but there is not enough space for people to sit and stay. They understand that the mind is like the body. Nutrition must be supplied regularly. Physical, mental, and spiritual nutrition. All should be taken care of separately. John, no one can stand in our way home, unless we don't want to come back. Let the light of the soul illuminate our way forward. Love you, Father. Thanks for listening to Dark Psychology World Channel. We will continue to bring you in the next issue. 38 letters from J.D. Rockefeller to his son.